I bet you have wondered about loans. We are often told that debt is dangerous, especially if you are not wealthy. Things like, avoid credit cards or debt will ruin your life, are hammered into us. The goal is to only buy what you can afford up front. But then you look at how wealthy people operate, and it is completely different. They take out massive mortgages, business loans, invest with borrowed money, use credit lines, and somehow it is considered smart financial strategy. It makes you wonder, why is it that when rich people use loans, it is genius, but when the rest of us do, it is a recipe for disaster? Let us demystify this together really quickly. It starts with understanding what kind of debt we are usually talking about. For many, debt conjures images of high-interest credit card balances racked up on daily expenses, a new car loan for a depreciating asset, or a personal loan to cover an emergency. This is often what we call bad debt. It is money borrowed for consumption, for things that do not generate income or grow in value. In fact, these things often lose value the moment you acquire them. This kind of debt typically drains money from your pocket, creating a perpetual cycle of payments that keeps you from building real wealth. It is a burden, a weight that actively works against your financial freedom. The key is shifting our perspective to good debt. This is money borrowed with a very specific purpose, to acquire an asset that generates income, appreciates in value, or helps you produce more wealth. Think about a mortgage on an investment property that you rent out. The rent covers the mortgage payments, and ideally, the property itself grows in value over time. Or a business loan used to expand an existing profitable venture, allowing it to generate even more revenue. Even a student loan for a high-return education could be considered good debt, as it is an investment in your future earning potential. This debt puts money into your pocket, or at least aims to. This leads to the concept of leverage, which is where the wealthy truly shine. Leverage means using a small amount of your own capital, combined with a larger amount of borrowed capital, to control a much larger asset. Imagine you want to buy a $500,000 property. If you put down $100,000 of your own money and borrow $400,000, you are controlling a $500,000 asset with just a fifth of the capital. If that property appreciates by just 10 in a year, it is now worth $500,000. Your $100,000 investment just netted you $50,000, a 50 return, thanks to the power of borrowing. Rich people understand how to use other people's money, OPM, to magnify their returns. What is fascinating is that the rich do not just use debt differently, they often have access to fundamentally different types of debt. Due to their existing assets, strong credit history, and proven financial track record, they qualify for lower interest rates, longer repayment terms, and more flexible loan conditions. Think about the difference between a prime mortgage rate for someone with a perfect credit score and a subprime personal loan rate for someone with a shaky history. The interest cost alone can be several times higher for the latter, making it much harder for that debt to ever be good. Access to capital itself is a privilege. Taking it further, a huge differentiator is financial acumen. Wealthy individuals, or those advised by savvy financial experts, often possess a deep understanding of interest rates, compound interest both for and against them, tax implications of debt, risk assessment, and market cycles. They do not just borrow money, they integrate debt into a comprehensive financial strategy. They are constantly evaluating the cost of debt against the potential return on investment, optimizing their portfolio, and often using debt to strategically minimize their tax burden. It is a game of chess, not checkers. To understand this, consider the fundamental focus. For someone living paycheck to paycheck, loans are often about managing immediate cash flow, bridging gaps, paying bills, making ends meet. It is about survival. For the wealthy, loans are about growing net worth, acquiring assets, expanding businesses, or preserving existing capital by accessing liquidity without selling assets. It is a fundamental shift from a cash flow for survival mindset to a net worth for growth mindset. The purpose behind the borrowing is entirely different, even if the instrument alone is the same. Progressing from there, the psychological divide is also huge. For someone struggling, debt is a constant stressor, a fear of missing payments, of being trapped. It is an emotional burden that can cloud judgment. For the wealthy, good debt is a calculated risk, a strategic tool, part of a growth plan. There is a level of emotional detachment and rational decision-making that comes with understanding the numbers and having a safety net. This psychological comfort allows for more effective long-term planning and less reactive panic decisions. Adding to that, there is the subtle but powerful impact of inflation, particularly with long-term fixed-rate debt like a mortgage. When you borrow money today, you borrow today's dollars. But you pay back those dollars over many years with future dollars that, due to inflation, are generally worth less. So, you're effectively paying back cheaper money than you borrowed. This is not just theory. It is a significant advantage that can erode the real cost of debt over decades, further benefiting those who use debt for appreciating assets. Ultimately, the point is that debt itself is not inherently good or bad. It is a powerful tool. Think of it like a hammer. In the hands of a skilled carpenter, it can build a beautiful house. In the hands of someone who does not know how to use it, it can cause injury or damage. Debt, when used strategically, can be an incredible accelerator for wealth creation. When used for consumption without a clear plan, it can hasten financial ruin. The tool is neutral. Its impact depends entirely on the user's knowledge, purpose, and existing financial position. The bottom line? The difference is not the loan itself, but who is taking it, why they are taking it, and what their broader financial strategy is. Poor and middle-class people often fall into bad debt for consumption, paying high interest rates on depreciating assets or immediate needs. Wealthy people, on the other hand, strategically use good debt for investment, leveraging low-interest capital to acquire appreciating assets that generate income, all backed by a solid understanding of financial principles. It is about turning a liability into an asset-generating machine. That is the real insight.